Well, hello, chocolate lovers. Whitakers has increased its chocolate prices for the third time in 2 years, citing the rising cost of ingredients. Now, the popular Wellington chocolate maker announced the price hike in an email to customers and social media posts, saying that the company was unwilling to compromise on quality, block size, or its use of ethically sourced ingredients. They ended their message with, therefore, we will be increasing prices for our product range from Monday, May 20. So, went up yesterday. While price increases have regularly fueled outrage over the last few years, this latest announcement from Whitakers met with an oddly warm reception through social media, where we know all the negative people live. So why did they get away with it? Bodo Lang is a professor of marketing analytics at Massey University, and it's great to have him on the show. Hello, Bodo.
Kia ora, Leah, how are you?
Oh, it's good to talk to you again. Now, usually when prices go up, you know this, people are not happy, let alone 3 times over 2 years. Why do you think Whitakers have had such a minimum pushback?
So you're absolutely right. People hate price rises. We're in the middle of a cost of living crisis, and so this seems very paradoxical. And I think there's a number of reasons for this. And the first one is really just the brand. Whitakers is basically built on trust. You might remember some years ago they did some advertising. It was very, very deadpan, and they just said, look, here's our block, and here's our competitor's block, and here's the ingredients that we use, and here are the ingredients that they use. And so they were very transparent. They've always been like this, and trust has been very much a core component of their brand. And so they're being very transparent. As a result, people are trusting them. And I think just, not hiding this price increase is really, really important. So I think that's why they've gotten away with this.
You mentioned advertising, Bodo, because how much does a good slick advertising campaign help? Because they used Nigella Lawson quite a lot. She was always the one that said, hello, chocolate lovers. And she was their ambassador. And then they had the wonderful Carl Urban, a Kiwi actor who played J.H. Whittaker in a campaign a few years back. Then they used that word. The words were, best is always better. So they were reinforcing, as you mentioned, trustworthy brands, the heritage. They were Kiwi-owned. So do the ads really work? They must have then.
Absolutely. I think they've been just a textbook example of how to take advantage of a competitor's downfall, which of course is Cadbury, and really just risen like a phoenix out of the ashes. And so, when this whole Cadbury thing happened, some years ago, they were really just, Whitakers was very small in terms of market share, but they've really profited. But they've done this in a very, very clever way, being New Zealand owned, having a long history, being very much about quality and trust, and positioning themselves in people's minds like this. And there's a lot of research that shows how powerful brands can be. And so, just to give you an example, if you show a group of people an Apple logo, so just the logo without any music or any big explanation, versus showing them a Samsung logo, those people who've viewed the Apple logo are more creative in tasks after the exposure to the logo. So, Whitakers is not Apple, but there is definitely power in branding.
Yeah, you mentioned Cadbury. That was interesting for the listeners that weren't sure what they did. They replaced some of their cocoa butter in their chocolate with vegetable fat, which included palm oil, big no-no, and they also reduced the size of their family blocks, and it was all met negatively. So, Bodo, if you were a company, though, that had to go through changes for financial reasons, how do you go about it without losing your customers?
I think it's a great question, and it just depends on how you're positioned in the market, what people think of you. If you're squarely and fairly positioned on quality and being premium, so, Whitakers or, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, you clearly do not want to sacrifice quality just to maintain a price point. If, on the other hand, you're positioned as a value brand, then you really want to maintain that value in consumers' minds. And that might mean that you might have to change ingredients, put more sugar in and have less cocoa butter, and so it just depends on how you're positioned. But I think staying true to your positioning and being really authentic in whatever the changes are that you're making is really, really important.